Hey, Bruce Naylor, welcome to Coffee Break. What is Coffee Break? Well, it's something I used to do back in the day when I was reviewing computers and technology, and one of my longtime viewers remembered that and said, hey, it would be cool if you started doing coffee breaks again. So sit back, grab your favorite beverage, coffee, tea, whatever, and join me for this conversation. And today I'm going to be answering viewer questions. And I think that's kind of how coffee breaks go. I'll try to answer your questions, maybe give you some opinions on some things, talk about some of the trends in audio and video. So sit back and enjoy Coffee Break, episode 1 of Coffee Break. So I'm just going into my videos. I said, give me all the questions and I will see if I can answer them or not answer them. And the first one comes from Just a Simple Fox, who writes, this is about the review of the Topping B200. He says, thanks, I really don't like the gold feet. Can you remove, unscrew, and replace these? Well, gosh darn it, I actually returned that back to Apos, who provided those to me, and I have never really considered the feet of a component as being tremendously important unless it's tied to maybe a turntable or something that might be disturbed by vibration. And on these amps, I'm sorry, I just didn't really think to look at the feet on there. I suppose, though, that there's something, if you don't like the feet per se, that you could possibly either replace them with or put them on top of, so maybe you didn't have to see them. Okay, the next question. This was my review of the Edifier MR3, and this is just a bunch of characters for a name, but it says which one is better sound, MR3 or MR4? So probably somebody's English is not their first language. I hate to answer this way. I don't have the MR4 to compare the 3 to. A lot of times when I get gear in for review, well, there's a few things, but some of these manufacturers don't give you a lot of time. They're really, Edifier is good though. Edifier is easy to work with, but I've had some that practically within a day of you receiving the item, they want to know when the review is going to be ready. But here's the thing, when I'm done reviewing a product and I'm allowed to keep it, and understand this, I ask all the companies if generally speaking, if I can just borrow these items and return them. I really am not doing this because I want all this gear, nor am I turning around and selling it for some kind of a profit. As a matter of fact, almost all of it, if I don't keep it for personal use, maybe as a reference or something like that, then I will donate it to charity or to a family member in need. And that is exactly what happened to the MR4s that got donated to a family member who really needed them. And I don't have them to compare with. I don't keep a lot of speakers and stuff like that around. I don't have the space, number one. Okay. So, when it comes to how does this compare to this, how does this compare to this, I've either A, never heard that item you want me to compare it with, or B, I've had it, reviewed it, and sent it on its way to somebody else or donated to charity. Generally, that's what happens. Next question comes from Pedro Petrosino. This is a review of the IEMA T1 Pro. Says, thank you for the video. I can't get the vacuum tubes in my country. Do you know which replacements would work? So go to the IEMA website and there will be a list of compatible tubes on the website for you to check out and that you could use as a replacement for those tubes. I also think there might be something, if you have Amazon available in your country, you can look up as well. Next question comes from Crimlark Steve, who writes, this is about the review I did of my Wharfdale Lintons. Great video, Bruce. I'm looking for a new set of speakers to match with my Cambridge CX81 integrated amp. That is a nice integrated. It seems like these would be a good choice. Do you think these would be good for playing symphonies as well as classic rock and jazz? I like just about every type of music, not rap. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. So, one of the reasons I bought the Lintons is because they are a very forgiving speaker and they play well with just about any genre of music. Some people refer to the British sound, but that's never been a thing for me. I don't think they sound unusually warm. I do think they maybe are a bit north of neutral in the mids and maybe a little bit in the treble region. They provide excellent bass. I have yet need to even think about adding a subwoofer with these. Jazz, I listen to jazz. That is my primary music I listen to anymore. Of course, classic rock, the stuff I grew up with during the 70s and 80s. As far as symphonies, not really my bag, but I wouldn't see why that would be an issue. So, yes, I think all in all, these would be a perfect set of speakers to match up with that Cambridge integrated amp. Another question that comes up, this one from I4N 1301, once again about how the MR3s differ from the MR4s. I don't have the MR4s anymore, and I am using the MR3s day to day, by the way. And they're perfect for my application, but I don't have those. But somebody else wrote, and this is the reason I brought this question up, there's no subwoofer out, and 5 people gave that comment a thumbs up. So at first blush, I thought to myself, you know what? There's studio monitors. And I'm thinking, recording studio, I'm thinking about people editing audio. They want accuracy. That's what they want, is accuracy. They want a flat type of frequency response. That's why they buy studio monitors. But of course, there's a much larger market for them. But that was my first kind of thought. And the more I looked into it, I said, I'm going to do some research and see what some other people think. And I think the very first thing that most others asking this question is this. Before you spend any money on a sub, spend it on room treatment. Because number one, actually integrating a sub properly is a bear. It's not easy. Now, I know a lot of people's feelings are mixed about a guy named Paul from PS Audio, but he's got a book out on, I think, how to integrate a sub, or he's got a lot of material out there on how to integrate subwoofers. But the idea is not, with music, is not to have that deep bass as shaking the walls like you would in a movie experience, okay? But rather the idea is to fill in the holes that maybe your bookshelves or other speakers can't handle in a well-treated room. So room treatment first and then integrating a sub, but the idea is to fill in the frequencies that your speakers aren't capable of doing, but not necessarily boom, 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 that kind of thing, all right? So for a studio monitor, back to that, I don't think Edifier possibly thought that would be a use case. However, there are obviously powered and active speakers with subwoofers out. This is not one of them. Best thing I can come up with. Question from penciled_Robin. This is about a review of the NAD C538 CD player. Hi, does it display the title of the current track when playing discs with CD Tech song titles? No, it does not. That's one of the main features I'm looking for. Otherwise, this player looks absolutely perfect. It is a great CD player, but it's not perfect, and it is more of a budget CD player. I just tend to use it from time to time. I have an old the Kenwood, I think, or Marantz. I definitely have a vintage Marantz CD player and another vintage CD player as well. But I do use the 538 from time to time. Next question from GOA 7250. This was a review I did a long time ago on the Edifier P12 speakers. How do these compare to the P17s? Don't know. I've never reviewed the P17s, never seen them, never had them, so I can't tell you. And I'm not going to answer any more questions like that. Look, folks, I don't have all these speakers around for me to do A-B comparisons. And I mean, I could try to go off of memory, all right? But I don't think that would be accurate, and it's probably not all that fair. Question from Papa Pogolas. This is the Klipsch R41Ms. Can they be used as front speakers in a small room for watching movies? Will I miss more power? Can these back-ported speakers be mounted on a wall with a bracket? Yes, they can be mounted on a wall with a bracket. I don't think that they would be ideal for a front channel speakers. I think they would make excellent satellites, maybe for surround sound in the rear or something like that. But no, I don't think that they would be that satisfying for the front speakers. All right, so that is my answer to that. Another question from Billy Bob Dingeldorf. I love it. That's a great name. Sip of coffee. Well, Billy Bob wants to know, did Edifier provide these speakers, or did I buy them myself? Do you need to sign an agreement with Edifier? If yes, I know you can't say much more. Oh, that's a fair question. Well, I've been reviewing Edifier stuff for going on 3 years now, I guess. I emailed them and somehow got in touch with their public relations people, told them who I was. I had an established tech review channel, so I didn't really have to sign anything, but I definitely have an understanding with them. I don't have a signed, executed contract, but they provide these to me at no cost. Therefore, I don't pay for them. But the deal is this. You send me a product, I always ask for the possibility of a loaner situation, but you have to understand some items that manufactured actually cost them more to send to me, and then for me to pack them up and pay the return shipping. And so sometimes just probably cheaper for them to say, just go ahead and hang on to them. But there's no contract with Edifier or any of the companies that I review products for. So no such agreement, written agreement, just there is an understanding. Like you kind of go back and forth when they say, hey, you only want to review this, you want to review that. And now we've had such a good relationship these years, it's not an issue. So hopefully that answers your question. Here's a question from Spine Tingler 007. And this is about a review I did when I really first started reviewing audio gear. One of the first things I reviewed was the NAD CB316. Yeah, so it's the NAD 316BV2 integrated amplifier. And I'm telling you, if you're on a budget, you want a nice little Class AB amplifier with toroidal power supply or transformer, that you can't really go wrong with them. They sound wonderful, they're well made, and they're relatively inexpensive. How much better is your new Marantz receiver? I can't say enough good things about Marantz. I will say that it is a warmer sounding integrated amplifier, certainly much larger, designed for all analog, no DAC, anything like that. There's not a DAC in the NAD either. They're both, kind of designed to be analog. I think that the phono input on the Marantz is superior to the one in the NAD, but the one in the NAD is no slouch. Just the build quality of the Marantz is outstanding. It's built in Japan in one of their factories there, as opposed to another country. So the build quality is absolutely top notch on the Marantz. So Part of it is longevity. Part of it is the lots of inputs on the analog inputs on the Marantz. The power, not so much. I mean, I think the NAD is like 30 watts a channel, whereas the Marantz is 70. But that's full 70, full. You know what I'm saying? Is the real measurements on there, so I could actually produce more in dynamic slams. But yeah, there's two different beasts altogether, two different price points. The NAD is a great starter integrated amp, and for most people, it's probably all you'll ever need. The Marantz is a little bit more sophisticated, more money, but I think you're getting better build quality, more inputs, and you're getting kind of a little bit nice, warm sound there to it. So that is that. Question from Boo 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 _ www. This is in regard to the review of the Mies Audio 109 Pro Dynamic headphones. Wants to know how well they would do with the topping DX3 Plus Pro Plus. Well, I actually happen to have one of those, and that's a great little DAC headphone amplifier. But I only use it as a DAC. I don't think the headphone amplifier on it is particularly all that great. Mine tends to seem like maybe a little bit noisy from time to time, and not very potent. And I think the Mese headphones, they like their power. So I don't think that's going to be the best to drive those. I would look maybe for, say, like with the Skit, is it the Magni headphone amplifier or something? Or I think the Modi is their DAC and the Magni is their headphone amplifier. Something like that would actually be better than using the headphone out of the topping. Next question comes from NOK-WJ7. My goodness. Wants to know, again, another comparison thing between the KEF and the Klipsch KD400s. Don't know. Like I said, I'm not going to answer any more questions about comparisons. I just want you to understand, I don't have access to all these speakers. I don't have a good source to get them in for review. I'm working on getting more speaker referrals in here because, well, I love reviewing speakers, but I just don't get that many in. So far, it's been mostly headphone amplifiers, DACs, Class D amplifiers, mostly is what I've been getting at, and of course an occasional headphones. Question from SION Scion GBB5339. The Edifier 1280 dBs, bookshelf speakers. Is this ideal used as a high TV speaker? Yes. Speech is very clear. I think you would definitely be just fine with it. Last question from Mufti. This is in regards again to the Wharfdale Lintons. There's a used pair for sale about half price in my city, but he's got a pair that are both left speakers, not left and right. Do you guys think it'll be a bit of a problem with the soundstage? Well, the answer is going to be yes. These were designed to be a matched pair. So kind of the tweeter arrangement and all that are designed to give you a nice big sound stage, and if you're trying to use two, they're no longer matched. They're the same speaker. That being said, if it was me personally, I would pass. They're designed to be bought and played in a matched pair and not two lefts or two rights. That's just me. Maybe see if you can, they'll let you take them home and set them up, and if you're pleased, then, like I said, if it was me, I would just walk away from that deal. You're not getting the matched pair, and then what if you decide you don't like it and weren't happy? Then you got to find somebody willing to buy two left speakers from you. So yeah, I just think that's something you just need to run and not walk from. Okay, last question comes from Gina Torres, 7253. regards to the Bose TV speaker soundbar. It says, I have a blue light that runs across the front of the speaker. I can't get mine to work. Any advice? Thanks in advance. So the blue light, I believe, indicates that it is trying to pair with Bluetooth. Have you looked at the manual about Bluetooth, enabling it and disabling it on there? If not, it sounds like you may have a defective unit. In that case, go ahead and get in touch with Bose Technical Support. Well, that is it for today's first edition of Coffee Break. I used to do these before, but it was about computers and all that kind of stuff. I think I do want to, and I do want to wrap this up. I came across the damnedest thing on Facebook, a group called Audiophools, like Phools. And there is some truly funny stuff in there. And then that led me to seeing a video. Who was that from? Was it Darko? Let me think. I don't recall, but a video that talked about how that audiophiles, there's two, you got the snobs that look down on people for not spending enough on their gear. The audiophiles are just the opposite. They're looking down on people who spend what they consider way too much money on, might be snake oil or just audio jewelry. And I've been looking through this for and I've got to admit, there's some stuff that makes you shake your head. You go, is it worth 30 grand for a power cable, power cord? I mean, how long are these businesses going to stay around? Ultimately, it falls like this. We know that younger people are not investing the money on audio gear, like middle-aged, the boomers, and that kind of stuff on HIFI. We know that a lot of them are content with earbuds and Bluetooth streaming from their phones, and they're happy with that. We also know the Delta, the performance is getting better with those type of products. Right? The Bluetooth is getting closer to true lossless audio. We know that the earbuds and the IEMs are getting really, really good. So that delta between a big home stereo system and a convenient on-the-go system, is gradually closing in. But the bottom line is, I'm of the impression this. I'm under this impression. If it's your money, if it makes you happy, if you believe that you're getting the value you're paying for with whatever gear that you get, then be happy. Great that you can afford a $25,000 pair of power amplifiers, let's say, or a $50,000 set of amplifiers, or $300,000 tower speakers. Wonderful. Great on you. You enjoy them. It's your money. You're happy. But that doesn't mean that the person who has a $5,000 rig or $25,000 rig has anything to be ashamed of. All right? It's just you got more money. Maybe it's better to you. May not be any better to that person who paid $10,000 or $5,000 or even $2,500 for this system. Conversely, there's no reason, I think, if somebody can afford high-end electronics, there's no reason to make fun of them and consider them a fool if it's bringing them pleasure and it provides a performance they believe they're getting for that price. Does that make any sense? Maybe not. But you know what? It's not important what I think. What is important is that you leave your comments down below and let's talk about it. Audiopools or snobs? Tell me. Which camp are you in or neither? Bruce Naylor. Thanks for joining me for this coffee break, and we'll try to do these once a week. Take care.